Well, what's the crack, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Tom O'Mahony Show. How you doing? It is Friday the 3rd of February 2023. Of course it is. You know that already. Do you know what I mean? Long weekend. God bless St. Bridget. I'll be making St. Bridget crosses all weekend with the rushes. Brand new. It's a brand new bank holiday coming up on Monday. The Patreons, of course, got this last night. If you want to become a Patreon, you know the crack. I've told you this thing a gazillion times, and a load of you jumped on to see the brand new special. It's right up there in the link. So go through the link, and there's a link. I actually create a new link inside in that link of all my podcasts. So there's the Tom and Jerry show, this show, and because you already found this show, so you're all right. But the brand new show with Anna Capeless that we're going to do for the Six Nations is going to be a very fun, alternative, light-hearted, good crack, silly version of a rugby pod. It's in there too. So if you've enjoyed Anna in the past, it's full throttle Anna on this one. She's written some brilliant jingles and stuff. So the intro is kind of a light kind of intro, holding your hand, bringing you into it, and then from next week onwards, then obviously we'll be talking about the games. So it'll be full on good crack silliness, rugby adjacent. You don't have to be even fully into sports to just listen to our silliness. So that's all over in that link in the show notes, along with the Patreon one. So you can, in the Patreon one, if you want to, if you're like, I don't know, do I want to be a Patreon tab, you can jump in, watch the vid, and sign out again for $3. That's what it is, $3. So it's there for you if you want to go have a look at it. The Hill Comedy Club was amazing the other night. My comedy club in Care here in Tipperary sold 2 Dubolics. Very, very good, nice vibes and all the rest of it. So a lot of cool people. Thank you very much to everybody who came up. A couple of Patrons came as well. Cool, just hanging out with some fun friends, you know, people you would have heard in the podcast, like Johnny B was there, and just a bunch of people that I hadn't seen in years as well. So 25th with Barry Murphy from Appary Match and Paul Crowley, who's been on the podcast before. So it's selling nicely. If you want a class night out in a comedy club that you don't have to pay €44 to park your car and another €750 for a hotel room, you just come to me in Care. It's an hour and 40 minutes from Dublin, 55 from Cork, and I don't know where else you'd be coming from, but sure, look it is there. Get the tickets because it's going to sell out, and the only way to get tickets for the next show, which I swear to fuck will sell out in a day, will be if you've been past guests or you're a Patreon. That's the only way you're going to get tickets, because it will sell out in a day just before I even release it, just to let you know. So buy one to get into the other, if you know what I mean, because you won't want to miss the next one. Brilliant. So that is all the housekeeping done. Moving on to today's guest. She is the most frequently returning guest because I absolutely adore this woman. She is the best crack. Just press record, sit back. Oh my God, from the get-go, I nearly lost a lung. God, she is good. It's Aoife Dooley, the most frequent guest, but now it is renamed to Tom O'Mahony Show. It's Aoife Dooley, everybody. How you doing, Aoife?
I'm good. How are you, Tom?
You hate an intro, don't you?
I do. I feel awkward. I was like, I just talk to you normal. Like, I always feel like, what do you say after? It's like when you ask someone like about the weather or something, like when you're in a taxi, or it's like, oh, you're only starting now. I just feel mad awkward.
But we never normally it's just a roll and start, and we're talking for half an hour beforehand. Like, but I just said,
yeah, that's true.
I did that for my own perversion, to be honest, because I know you would hate an intro, because I hate an intro too. Like, but you just sat there like you're in school. You would, yeah, I'm definitely Aoife Dooley. Yeah, 100%.
I know. I cringe a bit inside. I'm terrible at it. Even on the radio, and I think it's okay though. It's not even when I know people, I'm still kind of like, oh. But when it's someone that I don't know and haven't done anything with before, that's like even worse.
Oh, Jesus, I know.
Because you don't know like what way to kind of be, I suppose.
It would be very un-Irish of you to kick back and go, that's right, Tom. Yeah, I'm definitely still am Aoife Dooley. You know, it would be the most un-Irish thing of all time, like, because we're...
And if I ever done that, please kick me, because I was not like come across that way either.
And we'd finish with, and that was the last time Aoife Dooley was on the podcast. No, you know what it's like around here. We don't do that kind of stuff. It's just not a natural. But I do. Speaking of natural, I'm loving your your Marge Simpson-esque colouring. It's beautiful. I didn't see you blue. I haven't seen you the last time you weren't blue.
Have you not? God, that must be a long time then since I've been on, because I think I've been blue a while now. I can't remember. I can't remember exactly when I went blue, but I think it's been.
Oh, for the audio listeners, we're talking. We're not
oh
talking
yeah,
emotionally. We're talking. We're talking about Aoife's hair.
Then my hair's blue, so you can't see it, but it's blue, and I think it's been like that for a year and a half now. It's great because it stays in for a long time, but then it's also a curse now because I went grey in the last 2 years, so now I'm noticing a lot more, and I'm like, oh, I have to cover this more frequently now. I don't get away with kind of just leaving it for a few weeks, so that's annoying. But
as youth slips between your fingers, Aoife, welcome to the club. Welcome to the fucking club. It's about time for you.
I'm devastated. Like, I've only literally just got. Do you know what? I am getting old because I don't even know what age I am this year. I don't know if I'm 32 or 33. I swear to God. So yeah, it's just hit me all at once, like without any warning. Like, it's so unfair.
Oh, before you know it, you'll be wheezing going upstairs. You'll be looking for and it'll get to a point too where it was a great joke a friend of mine had years ago. He's another artist, Rob Steers.
Oh yeah, I know Rob. Yeah.
Rob had a great bit where he knew he was old was the time. He says all through his 30s, if he fell over, people go, dickhead. But once he hit like late 30s and he fall over, people go, oh, the poor man. It was
yeah. No, that's so true. I remember my friend telling me about our brother. I think he sneezed and he done his back in, and I just started laughing, going, how the hell could you do that? Like, and I think I always sit with my legs crossed, like kind of like a pretzel, like this. You can't see obviously what I'm doing, but like, my legs are crossed, and I sit like that for hours drawn, and it only happened to me there. Like, I think it was about like a month or two ago. Oh, it's like a nerve went to my knee, and I couldn't walk down the stairs. And I have like 2 flights of stairs in my apartment, so I couldn't walk up and down the stairs. And you could feel it every time you stepped on it. And I was like, "This is it now. This is me for the rest of my life. This is it." And there's no even like escalators or elevators in this place. Like, I'm screwed. Like, this gets worse. But so yeah, I'm already there. I'm already there.
Now, hence, wait for the damp weather. Nana Aoife will be able to tell us when the bad weather is coming. I can feel it in my knee. I feel it in my drawer's knee, my artist's knee. I feel it.
Oh, you're one and Mean Girls in our tits.
Oh yeah.
I love that part.
You still have one of the best bits that I enjoyed so much for its ridiculousness. And back when you did stand up, it was a bit. You did it the most memorable night. You did it in the Patriots Inn. I was about.
Oh yeah.
Getting one of your knockers caught in the fucking. Was it the back of the chair or the stairs? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was the back of the chair. So like, I have the two kind of similar style chairs here, but not the same. But they're kind of. I think you've seen them before actually. But they have like almost like banisters.
Yeah, little spindles at the back, aren't they? Like, I've sat on those chairs. I know that chair.
Yeah. So those type of chairs, and
would you regale me with the story again? Like, it's fucking beautiful.
It was like going into. I can't even. Do you know what? Like, I went into. I think I was going into Slimming World, and your one told me how much I weighed, and I was shocked because I was like, that can't be right. Like, I'm only 5 foot. Like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. And I was like thinking, like, it has to be my tits. Like, there's no way. Like, because I have to be able to take. I have to be allowed to take that weight off because that doesn't count. Like, I was born that way. Like, that's not my fault. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't ask for this. And it's actually funny, I'm going off on a little tangent here now because I'm going to do this. Yes. I actually asked my nana before. I was like, where did I get these? Because I just noticed everyone else in my family is grand. Like, they can go into Pennies and get a bra and all. I can't do that. And I'm like, where did these come from? And she goes, that be your granddad. And I was like, what? And she's like, oh, your granddad's side. Your granddad's side. And I was like, oh, yeah, of course. And I just remembered his sister. I was the same. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like what?
Granddad's tits. Granddad was actually a transgender, so he.
Oh, I don't know what you was talking about. I was like, okay, but I remember his sister, God love her, she only passed away there like a couple of days ago, and she had like really big ones. So I was like, I have that kind of course, I suppose, from that side of the family. But basically, what happened though? Back to the actual story, the question you were asking me. But yeah, so I went home and I wanted to weigh them, and it wasn't working basically because it was kind of. you know the way it's like attached to you. So like it was taking the weight of my shoulder and all. So I was like, I'll put them through the chairs and they'll like flop onto it, and I'll be able to weigh them then and see which one, like, and take the weight off. And I think it was like nearly like, I think it was like £6 each, but I don't think it worked though. I don't think it actually like was the real thing. I learned after that, like someone else told me after, that you do it in the sink, you fill it with water or something. There's a way to do it, but I obviously didn't know that before the chair scenario, and they got stuck.
How? Yes. Do both of them get stuck?
No, there's like, well, one's bigger than the other. Like everyone's quite like that. So one was actually all right, but one of them was stuck. So my nana coming in and helping me like with the soap. I remember the palm olive soap, the aquarium kind. Can't even buy that now. I can't even look at it in the shops anymore. It just reminds me of those dark days.
I mean, that would scar a lot of people, like, you know what I mean? But that was, I mean, that was a bonding moment between granddaughter and grandmother, in all fairness, for her to come in and rescue like that.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Because, I don't think we couldn't look at each other for a while now, for a couple of days. Like, I was a bit, like, awkward, but no, I was lucky. I was glad to have her there. Because,
I once got the old lad's car stuck in the back lawn, and the grandfather came down and pulled it out for me, and we buried it up with sods of grass. We covered the little holes, and I didn't find out until 12 years later. But it was that bonding moment where we're like, no, I mean, had I caught any of my body parts and the thing too, he'd probably be the man I'd want to show up. But I mean, for what reason would I have my body parts stuck in?
Oh God.
Oh.
No, I haven't done anything like that since now, so I'm kind of I wouldn't risk it.
Still,
the other time I was getting stuck underneath my bed as well. Like, they're hazardous, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like,
what, they stuck to the floor like suckers or what?
No,
no,
like I was underneath my bed, and like obviously the way you have like a gap in between your bed, like it's I'd say a couple of inches, like, where you can put stuff on your bed. So I go under the clean underneath my bed, like, but I'd be kind of on my back, like, and then I'd like turn over, and then I tried to get out, and then I couldn't get out because obviously there's like probably this much space between the bed frame and me, and so I'd be stuck then. That happened to me too. That was fun.
What, did you have to like bench press the bed off yourself, or just wait till somebody?
No, I was there for like literally like 4 hours or something. And my dad helped me. Like, I literally couldn't get out. Like, I was crying and all, because I was like, this is it. Like, and you have to understand, you're gonna be like thinking, oh, you were crying and all, but like, I was really young, because you see, I've had tits since I was 8. Like, when I say it's a course, like somebody fucked with me. Someone like literally put a spell on me and go, I'm gonna ruin your life. I'm gonna ruin your life. Like, I'm gonna give you tits when you're 8. That's what like every. What? No, I swear to God. No, I swear that's actually a thing. And because I hit puberty like faster than other people. So I actually
go away.
So in my book, like in Frankie's world, she gets basically growth hormones. So I had to, like, that's basically what same thing that happened to me. Because if I didn't get them, I would have been a lot shorter than what I am now. And you're probably thinking, you are short. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, I don't think it's done anything. But yeah.
Hold on. Whoa, back up to, because I wanted to talk about Frankie's work, but this is because I've heard of lads like, I don't know if you remember, there was a guy who played for Ireland for years. He became very famous, small little fella called Peter Stringer. He's only like 5'5", bald guy, but shouldn't have been able to play with these giants. But his family wanted to give him growth hormones when he was small. And I'd never heard of children. Reading his book, I'd never heard of anybody being offered them. And he was like, no, I'm going to be the size I am, and that's it. I'm going to be as hard as fucking nails. So what age did they give you growth hormones?
So basically, like, I'm 5'1" now, 5'1.5", I think it is. And basically, like, I probably wouldn't have made it to 5 foot, I think they were saying. So I had to get them because I was hitting puberty early. And basically, if I had got my period when I was like, like say 8, when my boobs were starting to grow, like, I would have like stayed that height. Like, I wouldn't have grown anymore. Yeah.
Well, that's the cutoff for women, is it? Once
I have no idea. I don't know the ins and outs of it. All I know is that's literally what it was. That's what all I was told. So yeah, it was a bit mad.
So did growth hormones give you boobs, or?
Oh no. Jeez, no. If they did, I would have sued, like, because I didn't want them things at that age. I mean, I have no money. I wouldn't have been able to do that anyway. But no, it was like That was happening before. So that's the growth hormones were kind of to slow me down from hitting puberty. So to stop me from getting my period like before like the age of 13 or whatever.
What?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
and were they hoping you were going to grow tall but slow down your
I don't think so because me and my mom were the same height. So I don't think I don't know. I don't think they were hoping for a miracle now, but
So were they
they just probably
reverse?
wanted me to give it.
Or did they reverse steroids? Like, were they like to keep?
No, no. I did grow a bit. I did grow a bit, but like a couple of inches, maybe. Like, oh no, that inches is like this, isn't it? So maybe a few, but like not much. Like, but I don't know
That,
exactly what height I was because it was obviously years ago. I was only like a kid, but I was definitely under 5 foot though, and they were afraid that I'd stay like under 5 foot basically if I didn't get these because it looked like I was hitting it early. So I was like, yeah. So yeah, that mad.
this we're learning stuff here on the podcast. If nothing else, we're learning stuff because I had no like what was in the milk they were putting in your cereal like early doors. Because I mean,
I have no idea. I was just like weird like that, like, and I got the measles as well when I was a kid. Like, so
what?
like weird, just random stuff. Like, so I don't know, just went into like that, and then obviously like later on, like with me putting on a bit of weight, I got kidney stones and all. So I think just weird things like that happen with like I have no idea.
Are
It's
you
just
getting
always.
all your owl one stuff out of the way? Is that it? Like you
I
got all
hope so. That's what I'm banking on. That I'm just getting it out of the way early, and then I'm gonna be like in my 70s and like living my best life or something. Like, I don't know. No, I am living my best life now. But it's just funny though. Like, yeah, it's weird. And my sister was grand though. Obviously, we've got different dads though, so maybe that's different. But my sister was grand though. She didn't have like anything like that now. The bitch.
this is I half feel therapist and podcast and friend all at the same time here. This is amazing.
Ah,
This
we're
is
just going on a rant though, weren't we? We're just
I
talking about
love it.
random things.
I absolutely like yesterday you sent me a Aoife sent me a picture going, the old head is I have a pain in my head, Tom, and it might be getting worse. I'm just letting you know. And I says, look, we'll put it off till tomorrow night. And then you sent me a picture of the most phenomenal looking thing. This head strap thing. Like, what in the name of Christ is that? Or where did you get it?
It's like literally like just one of these like it's like a hairband kind of thing basically you put on if you're doing a face mask, but I put it around my head when I have a headache, and it's basically just has it looks like a snail, like it just has
That's
big
right.
eyes coming
I
out of
thought
it.
you were just being a gas fucker. Like you were just going, I'm a snail
No,
now, Tom.
no, I literally like it literally has two big eyes coming out of it. I think I got it on Shein. I think that's how you say it. But I basically I just got it like and for doing face masks, but it turned out it's much better for headaches. So that's what I've been using. But my friend gets headaches all the time, and she was telling me, yeah, that's not really great for it. So, but it works when you don't have any painkillers.
Yeah, squeezing your head, that always helps. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's I get them, yeah, every so often. But I think that's just from hyper focusing or looking at a screen, or
Yeah.
maybe the paint, like you said, because I've been doing up my house. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's probably a combination, but I'd imagine the hypertension from actually locking onto a thing. Because I find it if I'm editing videos and stuff like that, or if I'm writing on the computer. Grand if I'm writing on a book, not a bother because it's just a more natural thing to do. But if I'm writing flat out on the computer, forget about it. I'll be a sack of shit for an hour afterwards.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Like I have all the dimmers and all on my screens, like when I'm working now, like because I found like last year, like my eyes, I definitely have to get my eyes tested because yeah, like I just found from staring at the screen so long, things were looking kind of slightly blurry.
Were they?
Yeah. So I took a little break and seemed to be a lot better now. But yeah, um, take breaks when you're looking at the screen is basically like the main thing from what I think because yeah, mess up your eyes.
See, what I
I
often
need my eyes for my job, so
yeah, they're handy. Them in your hands are pretty handy. Everything else you could kind of do without, like, but
yeah.
your eyes in your hands. Because I often wonder, like, and you're a perfect person to ask, but then you're a freak when it comes to working too. So you're like me, whereas you'll end up killing yourself for doing what you're doing. But as comedians, like you're supposed to go off on new adventures to create new ideas and stuff like that. And I do. I've forced myself now to go off and do stuff so that at least I'll come away with a story or my brain will go in a different direction. Have you found yourself going, do you know what? We just we gotta get in the train, go out and look at the sea or something, so at least I can recharge.
Yeah, do you know what? Like I noticed because obviously I hadn't been away in a while in about 2 years or something. and maybe 3 years actually. And I went over to visit my auntie in Bournemouth, and we just went out we didn't do anything like mad extravagant. It was just a nice kind of chill time, and we went out and done a few things. And I felt like that really just reset my brain, just being in a different environment and seeing
Yeah.
different things and experiencing new things. And it worked creatively for writing, but also for like illustrating as well. Like, and I remember coming back, and I literally was like, I don't know what, like I was just chucking out loads of prints and designs. Like I was just so energized and so motivated. And so yeah, I definitely think, and I don't do enough kind of like even going out like on like day trips like around here, like around, but like I need to start doing that more, because yeah, it really does. I'm just back from a trip from Amsterdam with my friends, and even
Hence
being over
why
there.
we didn't do it on Monday,
Oh
because
yeah, yeah.
we both figured there was absolutely going to be no
Yeah, yeah,
point.
no, there was no chance. There's no chance. But even being there and seeing like the street art and all, I seen someone on TikTok saying something like, what was it? They like to go on weird walks, and what a weird walk is basically is like you go on a walk and you try to find something weird. And I just felt like you could do that anywhere over there, and like you could be walking down like
Yep.
even in a residential area, and it'll have some kind of sculpture or something. It was so cool. So I like doing that, because yeah, it just kind of, it's like a good food for your brain, kind of, I think, for like creativity.
Isn't that it? I suppose it's exactly
Yeah.
that, because and your brain is so, like, I suppose art, whether it's spoken word or physically drawing, for you it's, you're just kind of cleaning out the cupboard a small bit and going, we'll put some new stuff in here and do no harm at all. I'll put it with the rest of it, because you're just seeing new shapes of buildings, new heads on people. Everybody's tall in Amsterdam, I found.
Oh yeah,
There's
absolutely. Yeah, that's actually something I noticed as well. There was like, well, maybe I'm just like, I haven't been out in a while either, so maybe that's why it's assumed so
who
well.
are all these fucking giants?
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I forgot people are actually tall and how small I am. But no, it's great for that. Like, I want to do definitely a bit more traveling this year for that reason as well, because I just think, yeah, you just get a lot back from it, I think, as well. Besides just having a break or just, going away to enjoy yourself, you always kind of can take that back with you too, I think.
Well, your brain is primed for, regurgitate is the wrong word, but recreate the real world. Your brain is primed for that. Do you know what I mean? So going out and refreshing the old, the I suppose the stocks, the pantry that is your brain of images and ideas, where you go out and you go, ha, I have never seen one of those things before. Okay, right, put that in the head, because that's mental looking, and off you go again.
Yeah, yeah. No,
You
absolutely.
you can recluse yourself too much, like, because the cozy spot is your spot, isn't it? Like, and go, no, this is tipping away the finest.
Yeah, and yeah, you can get sucked into it as well, where you don't even realize, or you get lazy and you're like, I know I'm grand, but you have to force yourself, I think. And I've seen a few cool things like around like my area too. Like, I'm obviously not gonna say where I live, but like I've seen things like the most random thing I've seen, and I can't even remember exactly what it was, but I have a picture of it, and it was like a cutout of a newspaper article, which I don't even think was a real article. And it was like crushed into the ground outside the front of my apartment, and I stopped and took a picture of it. I must send you a picture of it after, because I can't remember exactly what it said, but I think it was what's that film? Is it Narnia? I'm trying to
Yeah,
think now.
yeah,
And
yeah.
is
The
your
Lion, the
man
Witch,
like
and the
half?
Wardrobe.
Yeah, and is there a fella in that who's like, he's like half man, half
Mr. Tumless.
yes, yes. So it was a picture of him on it, and then it said something like about him like being it was just really random. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like about him being like some kind of sex pervert. But it was like a fake article that was written up, and it was crushed into the ground. That's the weirdest thing I've ever found around here. Sorry, I'm rambling on now because I don't know exactly what it is, but I'll find it and I'll send it to you.
I That literally is the kind of dream that I have if I eat too much chocolate. I will find a newspaper article, Mr. Tumless has been arrested for being a pervert. That's the kind of fucking dreams I have.
It was yeah, I was saying I had one about like a racetrack the other day. I'm like,
Ah,
I don't even watch racing. I play Mario Kart now, so that's probably where it came from. But I don't
now
know.
there's
Yeah.
a day out you should take, is go down and watch racing in Mondello Park. It
Oh,
will,
yeah.
it's so out of your wheelhouse. It's so far out of your wheelhouse that you will, you like, what it will do, load your brain. Just seeing the individuals, the kind of culture that goes to, it's a complete subculture that you will never ever run into.
I'd be
And
most
just
interested in the people there rather
that,
than
that's
the cars.
that's
I'd be just yeah.
that's that's what I mean. But the cars in themselves are kind of, the cars are great, but it's the kind of, I like people watching it. It's the interesting posturing of men and women, because girls are really into it too, and girls have their race cars too. Like, so you're
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of, and you can go on any, like, there's all sorts of days for different styles of car. But I found that really interesting going to see that. Like, you're seeing children all the way up to older people, and these are people you will never meet or see. You would never run across them. Do you know? So it's not far from you when you're out in Nace. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's all. I'm all for doing like all new things this year, because I feel like I did kind of lock myself away for a while. So I want to kind of experience the world a bit more now. So I am up for trying new things now this year. So I feel like I'm kind of like getting back to myself after the last couple of years. Because obviously it's a hard couple of years now. They're not getting into it like my deeper end because, like, it's a fun podcast. But like, yeah, like, so I think that like I'm gonna start doing more stuff like that. And even like I'm not talking about hiking or anything like that. Like I don't think I'll ever be really interested in that. But things like that like are still out of my comfort zone that I don't usually do. I'd like to try more. Unless it's like eating something mad. I don't think I'll be into that now.
No, but and at the same time, I mean, take you to the driving range and crack some golf balls just to see what that looks like. From more so, I'm thinking the aspect, because it's just a silly thing to do, or pitch and putt even, because it's just a bit of crack, and you can be as shite as you. The great thing is you'll be as shite as you want, but more so, I think the images you would see from it to log in, like just how owl lads and owl ones to be positive. I think more than anything, they're hilarious. They're like peacocks in their golf gear and all the rest of
Do
it.
you know
Like,
what? I do have an experience of this. I went,
yeah,
but kind of similar. It wasn't golfing though. It was bowls. You know, bowls.
very Protestant.
Yeah. So went to this bowls thing before, and you're probably like, "What were you doing at a bowls thing?" It was an advertising party, and they invited me, and I went, and we were all. I don't even want to call it bowling because I don't even think it is bowling. I'm going to call it bowlsing because that's what we were
Yeah,
doing.
yeah,
That's what we're
bowls.
doing. And no, it was actually really fun. But like there was loads of posh lads there, and they thought I sounded really funny, and they were just in bits laughing, and they just thought I was Mrs. Brown, and that was annoying. That was annoying. So like, and I wasn't in the right headspace then to kind of like ignore like that kind of thing. But I think now
Yeah.
I can handle it. But like, yeah, it was just the funniest thing ever to them, and I was just like, all right,
Was this
like
in Dublin? Of
yeah,
course it
I
was.
was in. It was. You can probably guess where it is. I'm
Yeah,
not going to
yeah,
say
yeah.
where it is, but it was not on the north side anyway. Let's say that.
No. They were not odd numbers. They were even numbers that you yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
I thought it was like, I just thought it was so bizarre. I was like, it's like you never heard anyone from the north side before.
Would you know what that is, Aoife? You just got to experience what it's like to be a culture in the entirety of Dublin.
Oh
In
yeah.
the entirety of Dublin. That's what you got to experience right there, because the amount of times, no matter north or south side, they look at you like you just stepped down off the back of a cow. That's what I experienced for 12 years living in Dublin. You're like, oh, for God's sake. We have degrees and stuff outside. No, never mind. Never mind.
I would have just played up on it completely.
Oh,
Yeah, there
I
are years it just yeah.
I leaned into it like you wouldn't believe. Wouldn't believe. There's no point in talking about having a master's degree in engineering. It's like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. See, yeah, I'm married to my sister. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have cows living in the sitting room. We don't even have a sitting room. We don't even have, this kind of shit. Like, so yeah, nowadays, I take great banking pleasure in that now like excites me. The idea of being ostracized at the bowls. And I think it's with age too. You appreciate they don't mean to be dickheads. They're just
I know.
dickheads. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're just I did a fairly big gig, and it was very interesting afterwards. Whereas for the last couple of years, I would typically be the headliner at a show or whatever. And or you're part of the show and you're acknowledged as part of the show. But this particular thing, I was at this, I was on this show, and afterwards there was people there from Spotify. Very
Okay.
nice. This couple were there from Spotify, and I was chatting away to him, having a great time. And the manager of the show came over, and we spoke briefly beforehand, but it was the way he went, guys, can I get you a drink? And they kind of looked at me, and I looked at them like, oh, and all three of us turned, and he literally blanked me. Like I did, like, not that I didn't want to know me, like I literally was not standing, and I'm standing 3 inches from this man. Like, I wasn't
Oh,
even, and he went, because we have gin and beer, whichever, and he went, and they saw the awkwardness of the moment. He went, I'll have a gin and a beer, Tom, and he still blanked me. He said, so that's a gin and a beer, okay, and he was gone.
do you know? I experienced the exact same thing. Yeah. And the awkwardness from the other people kind of going, what is going on here? This is so weird. Yeah. It was very awkward, but
Where,
I
where
think I
did you
played it off
experience
like a
it?
boss. Oh, it's one of these ones. So
Oh, you got to dance around. Yeah, I had to dance around
yeah, I
that
had
a
to
bit of it
dance.
too. Yeah.
I'll dance around it a bit. So how will I say this now? I was doing a book thing a couple of years ago, and I was on a panel. We basically, I went to this event, I was on the panel, and then after the event we basically went out for a drink after, and there was like people there that we know,
Yeah.
and we were sitting down, and yeah, came over to the table, asked everyone if they wanted a drink. There was like four of us. I was sitting there, completely ignored me, and I literally just went up and got my own drink after, but I just played it off like nothing happened, because I didn't want it to, like, it didn't bother me because I could just go up and get my own drink anyway, but I just thought like the pettiness of it. So I have experienced that before, that it wasn't really nice. But I don't know why. Just some people, I think, just it's one of those things. Yeah, it's a funny one, isn't it?
It's well, in all fairness, I had the maturity to kind of, like, they were so embarrassed in the moment, and he was gone, and I went, no, don't. He's up to 90. I said he wasn't. I'm actually reveling in the fact that that is such a new experience to me, that I would bank that, because I think it was she didn't work for Spotify. She was there with her fiance, and he worked for Spotify. But I think she was a stand up. She was a stand up as well, and she was kind of going, "That's Jesus, what an audience to play to." And I was like, "Yeah." But afterwards, when he'd walked away, I went, "No, that's really good. I'm going to bank that awkwardness." I love the fact that was really, really rude. But I said, in all fairness,
oh yeah,
in fairness, I don't genuinely think he's a rude man. I think he's so caught up in the fact that the most important person here between him was Mr. Spotify. And he went, "Yeah, I get." And your man was like, "I do unfortunately get that a
I
bit." Like,
experienced that before though with other people, because like obviously it is like a pecking order in a way, I suppose. Like, especially in that kind of industry, and like most industries. But like,
oh yeah,
have you never been around people where you get treated different because obviously someone be the head in the room kind of thing. Like it's a weird experience, but kind of reminds me of primary school in
yeah.
a way. Like it really does. Like it's odd.
I
But I like
don't,
that, yeah.
I don't think I'd experienced it as, like, I mean, razor sharp. Do you know, like, there's been kind of
Oh, it's
all,
subtle.
like,
Yeah.
you
I
know, a
know
bit
what you
of
mean.
kind of like, anyway, like, so I was saying, you know, but I mean razor me, like, we're talking, if it was Photoshop, you would have turned off my layer. I
Oh,
did,
okay.
like,
You were
I
just like you
I
were
wasn't there.
transparent.
I was transparent. I was transparent. So it
I would
just,
feel I couldn't just even do that to someone. Like I would feel so awful just blatantly outright ignoring someone, no matter what the situation though, because even if I didn't get on with someone, I'd be civil towards them. Like if I'm like in a group situation, you know the way. But
yeah,
it's mad how some people can just shut off like
yeah.
that though. Like
And
it's
he
crazy.
just didn't. And I pulled him out. The next time I saw him, I pulled him on it, because
Oh no way!
we were
No
having a
way!
great chat. We were having a great chat. And I says, "No, I have you." I went, "I fucking didn't, did I?" I said, "Yeah, you did." He goes, "I'm some prick." I says, "Look, you're not really. Had you acknowledged me and still and then behave like you did." But I said, "To be fair, I don't think you could even fucking see me." He goes, I do actually. Oh, geez, I do kind of have a fucking memory of you now. Of course you would have been there, because and he was apologetic about it. But I said, to be fair,
Yeah.
I'm banking these lovely awkward moments. I said, I need to know every aspect of society, because I deal with people in the real world on a bi-nightly basis. I said, so I need to know that that's a limit of ignorant that you can fucking go
Yeah.
to. I said, and if I ever need to be acting and playing an ignorant bastard, I says, I'll go. Oh fuck, am I that? But I said, yeah, I will go straight to that. I said, because you were so beautifully fucking rude, but you didn't know. But I said, but no, listen, I've been.
I love that though. Not love those kind of situations, but I know exactly what you're saying. It's interesting to see how people behave in certain situations like that, like, and
Yeah,
just like, especially when you haven't like seen it before, like when the way it kind of like if it's something, if it's a new experience to you, like obviously like it's,
yeah,
you're gonna remember it like a lot more. But like I've definitely come into like other things as well, where I've seen or been talking to people, and I've noticed stuff like that too, and I'd say yeah, it's unusual. And I don't know if it's unusual because I'm autistic and some people aren't, like, and it's just a different kind of thing. I don't know, but like, yeah, I'd notice little things like that as well, that like you say, they just be in my head, and I'd be like, that's mad now. Is that kind of the way it is, or is that like, I don't know? Do you know the way? Or am I
It's
talking shy?
no, but you're also, you see, it's valid to ask, is it because the way of the world, or is it because how I see it? But also, when you end up in very strict, like, you have to remember, you're at a book launches, and that is almost never a thing that happens. That never happens to 99.9% of society. The gig I just did, I would say the same rate, like, never will end up in that scenario. So it's almost not transferable to other people in a sense. Like, you're going, this is a fucking weird place. Now, if it was at a family dinner and somebody was just being a bollocks to you in the same way, you go, we have to have a word here, or we'll be moving some fucking furniture. You know what I mean? But it's when you end up with these
Yeah.
extremely odd scenarios and extremely fucking weird people too. That's like the first time, and it was that I can properly remember, whatever about being on lineups, that's happened loads, like as you come up along and stuff, just people being rude. But as I found, because some comedians, they found themselves to be utterly fucking untouchable. And ironically, the night we gigged in the Patriots Inn, there was a comedian on that night that was, in
Yes, there
his head,
was.
utterly fucking untouchable. And a month later, he got touchable.
Yeah.
But
I remember that gig so clearly as well, because I think that was the first time I gigged there.
it was a fucking,
Yeah.
I know you were in sync with the people. I was in sync with the people I was hosting. And the out of sync person was that person. And he, yeah, he paid the fucking price for that level of ignorance, like, you know. But I've seen it from everybody. I've seen it from female comics, male comics. I've seen it from everybody.
Uh,
But
I was just gonna say,
yeah.
yeah.
But also then you meet the absolute kings and queens of the game, who've been there forever, and they're
And that's it. Like
they're the actual nice people. You're going, oh,
a
right,
mixed,
yeah, yeah.
it's a mixed bag. And I think when I started, like, I love comedy. Like, I want to like get back into comedy. I have been writing stuff, and
Good.
but like, I'm kind of getting my mojo back. But I think for me, it is the mixed bag. Like, it's kind of like, and I think I was quite naive when I started, because I was a lot younger than I am now, and I kind of had this kind of view of the world that everybody's my friend, and
Mm.
that's how naive I was. And I learned very quickly that a lot of people weren't,
No.
and it was kind of devastating to me, because I was kind of like, oh, this isn't the way it is. And I felt like I really grew then in the last couple of years. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's funny, like, how things like that work, but it's yeah, it really, there really are a lot of people who, I have to say, who have been really sound, like obviously like yourself, PJ, like absolutely sound. There's so many lovely people I've met, and even quite recently, Dylan Moran, like I met him at an event that we were doing, and he was absolutely lovely. And I think it's like, it's almost like the same with illustration as well. Like I have, like, I'm out of college a couple of years now, and there's like other people who are coming out of college, and they're looking at you going like, I want to do that, and I want to kind of be doing, this, that, and the other. And in a way, like, that's kind of like what, like, you guys have done for me in a way. That's what kind of gave me the confidence, I think, to do it. Like, because I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. And
We
then I found my own, that kind of way. But then there is the other side of it, that's kind of, there's people who don't want you to do good, and that comes in all kind of walks of life, and different job titles and stuff, like, that kind of way. You have to kind of be prepared for that, but I was not at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, so yeah, I know what you mean.
There was
It's
a few friends like just like that. They weren't ready. They were ready to be embraced by this community. Like, and you're kind of, no. Here's the thing. There's almost no structure on any community anywhere. You can put a title
no,
on it. You
no.
can all pay your fucking admission fee at the beginning of the year. But the bottom line is, sound people will find other sound people, but their dickheads will be dickheads regardless. They'll like, there is no. And the only thing was, I came into it with my eyes wide open, in a sense of being in other industries. Like, I'd been in construction for a long time, and what you learn there is, you better be able to stand on your own two fucking feet, because
Yeah.
you're literally going to get bulldozed down. Like, but I remember
I think that's where I learned it. I think
yeah,
that's where I learned it. I
yeah.
was like, I think I did get bulldozed down, and I'm like, right, I'm ready to get back up again now, because I'm not going to let that happen again. But so I totally know what you mean. Like, you have to go through experiences like that to kind of understand it and kind of learn from it, I think. Sorry, I'm getting mad
No,
philosophical now.
and
I
that's
don't even
no,
mean
and
to be,
that's
but
that.
it's just actually true. Like, yeah.
That's why that rude scenario with me, like, I was going, yeah, class. Because there's a great phrase I heard years ago, and seen the clip of it since. And Michael Caine, the actor Michael Caine, incredible
Yeah,
actor. You should watch some of his clips on teaching acting on TV shows. He's just on, like, talk shows. They'll go, what's the what's the the ultimate? And he'll just teach these tiny moves of his eyes, and he'll give you 2 or 3 examples. You're like, holy fuck, just doing that right, okay, like tiny things, like because he's from the ground up acting, but he had a great phrase called "use the difficult." Then he says, "I've always taught this to my grandkids, my kids, my great grandkids will be taught it." He says, "Use the difficult." And he gave an example, and he says, "What are you talking about?" He says, "Well, I was a young actor, and I was a part of a play that was actually a comedy. I was young, maybe only 19, 20 years of age, and I was to come out on stage through the backdrop. There was a door in the backdrop, and I was to come out on stage, but they were having an improv Barney out on the stage, the couple, and they were throwing shite at each other and flinging the stuff around. So, but nothing was like choreographed. So stuff could be flying anywhere. And he was to come in the door, and there was a chair up against the door, and he's there jamming at the fucking door, full house. And he's like, "Sorry, sir, sorry," to the lead actor. He's like, there's a chair blocking the door. Now he said himself, I could have pushed it, could have done it to get in there, but I just thought I'd better walk in like I did in practice. And your man was, "Will you use the fucking difficult?" And he was like, "I don't." And he made a bollocks of it. And afterwards, he says, "What did you mean use the difficult?" He says, "It's a comedy. Because it's a comedy and it's in the middle of a Barney, there's a chair blocking the door. You get your leg in the door and you fall over it and flip the chair over and you make another joke. If it was a serious play, you walk in, you pick up the yoke and you break it off the fucking ground and threaten me with it. Like, use it.
What's there? Yeah, I know.
Especially the difficult is the most juiciest stuff to use. Like, so, like, if ever I took from that straight away, I banked that when your man was being, I went, "Oh yeah. Oh, you're going in the book because I may need that sometime. Like for one reason or another, I might need it somewhere of how to." But one of the best ones was, I remember I was in a radio studio for News Talk, and it was only a small studio, and we were doing, it was to be the comedy hour on a Friday. You know what I mean? You pre-record,
Yeah.
and Ivan Yates was the host. And it's only a small space, not much bigger than fucking this, like 8 foot or whatever. And there was a famous architect beside me, very camp gentleman, nice man, very into himself. But we had a chat, and in came a host. So I could say her name and everybody will guess it, but her name anyway is irrelevant. But she comes in, one of the biggest egos I've ever seen standing on 2 legs. And she reached, like, to the point even, this is the audio listeners who picked this up, but it was almost like something out of a Ben Stiller movie. Her arm actually scraped across my face to shake hands with your man, right?
Oh,
yeah,
no.
her whole fucking arm scrapes across my face, shook hands to your man. She was like, "We'll call him Derek." I don't know what his name was, but we'll call him Derek. He's like, "Hi, Derek, good to see you." And she just planked down after and then dragged her knuckles back across my face again. I was like, and even Yates was like checking his notes, and even he looked up and went, "Whew." I went, "How's it going? I'm Tom O'Mahony." And put my hand out. She went, "Uh-huh." And wouldn't even shake my hand. I was like, "Oh man, if you're a fella, I'd ask you outside." That is because that's just fighting. That's just fighting territory straight away. But but in that moment, I was rattled a small bit, but then what I got was real venomous and competitive. I went, if she's even attempts to try and be funny, I'm gonna fucking bury her in the ground like a fucking tent peg. But she didn't. Here's the thing: she didn't get the humor in anything that was being said throughout the hour. It was to be all lighthearted stuff with a hint of you know, a bit of straightness to it. But we were to take the piss. That was the idea of it.
Yeah.
She actually kept on chiming in like it was a part of the news hour and she should be debating this. I was like, lady, you're not getting the premise here at all, are you? This is supposed to be lighthearted on a Friday evening for people driving home. Okay. But till this day, whatever about your man blanking me, he didn't see me. She fucking well felt me.
Well, I have another funny one actually for you.
Go on.
This was actually in when I went on holiday a couple of years ago, and we went to California and we went to LA, and basically we were in a bar, and it was the strangest interaction I've ever had in my life. But like, you wouldn't expect anything else, like, or anything less in LA, I think. But it was just the confidence. It's like I was just like, but like absolute sheer arrogance too. But I was just like, I didn't know how to react. So me and Carla sitting at the bar, and we're like literally just like chilling out. And this was a weird bar, like it was in like a real kind of hipster area. So you thought
God,
it was
yeah,
gonna be,
yeah.
you know, like PMAX kind of style.
Yeah.
And it was a nice bar, but like, you know, I'm talking like people were there doing like like hard drugs in the toilet and all, like taking an hour in there and all this stuff, like, but we didn't have a clue what was going on because we were like so chilled over there. Like we were just like, there's no danger here, there's no danger anywhere.
Yeah.
So again, being really naive. And this woman comes up to me and she cuts in, like me and Cara sitting beside each other, and she cuts in between us and she's looking at us and she's like, hi, I'm like, I don't know, like, I call her. I was gonna say Siobhan. I was like, no, like this girl was like proper pure American, so I don't know. I have to give her a name. I don't know, maybe Charlotte. Hi, I'm Charlotte. And I was like, hey, I'm Aoife. Nice to meet you. You know the way you say nice to meet you. And she just goes, I know it is. And I was just like, who are you? Like, who are
What
you?
a maniac.
Oh my God. And I turned around and I was like, so what, like she struck up a conversation with us. So I was kind of like, okay. So I was like, so what are you doing? You just floating around? Like, just, just floating around, like just hanging out for the day, like, that kind of thing. I don't know if floating around means something different in America, but she got really offended and pissed off at this. And she was like, excuse me? And I was like, floating around. And she was just like, that's really offensive, actually. That's really offensive. And then she walked off. And then she started talking to all these dudes behind us, like trying to get them to buy her shots. So she was obviously just looking for someone to buy her drinks or something. But like, it was so weird. But I just had the sheer confidence of, oh, it's nice to meet you. I'm sure it is. Or it is. No, not I'm sure it is. She said it is. And I was like, oh my God.
What a
just
dickhead.
so out of blue, random. But I do like that part about traveling as well, where you do meet the most random people. Like I met this skydiver over there as well, and he had like he had like these dreadlocks, but like they were all multicolored, and he was wearing like this like purple unicorn t-shirt, and he was really cool. And we were in a vintage shop, and we got talking to this woman whose husband is a famous jazz player, and I can't remember who it is now because I'm not. Carol knows who it is, but like we really really old now. And we were talking to her, and she was all like, "Oh, it's Grandma's day out at the beach," and she was doing her vintage shopping, and it was just really nice, like getting to talk to like different people, and like in different countries, I like that as well because I don't know, I think I love that, like, and people watching and then talking to people. So
the obscurity, yeah, it's I love it because the obscurity of people. I met a guy a couple of weeks ago. He was he had no teeth, very few teeth, and he would be like he'd be kind of deemed a bit of an idiot, that kind of way. And I remember I was talking with him. It was actually about a field, considering building a house in it. I got just chatting with this guy. It's like stunning. Like if you couldn't draw, like it had an ancient oak forest wrapping around this tree, this field. You couldn't, but it was like, and the forest is protected, but it came with the land and stuff this guy was selling. But more than anything, to find out that this guy was no more an idiot than the man in the moon, like. But he could tell you 4 stories and keep them all and keep you interested in all 4 of them at the same time. He was so animated. This guy he was wasted being a farmer. Like he was absolutely he should have been on the West End. Like, we're talking Lee Evans level of energy. Just
oh God, yeah, that's a lot of energy.
Like,
and top energy.
And you've never seen, and even to walk after the guy, he was like, "I'll show you," and off he went, like this kind of walk with his hand out. But even trying to fucking keep up with this, and he was a little guy trying to keep up with him. But like, it was so interesting to listen to this, and he would tell you an intimate stories about his upbringing, but then we tell you a story about a car that he bought, and then keep another story going about the field and the guy that was interested in one time, and another story about how he went to Dublin 2 weeks ago. You're going, fucking, you are, Jesus. Like, if we could get some focus on you, man. Like, so what's the one that they use for focus? Do you know the American kids use it for the fucking when it comes to exams and stuff like that, and ADHD?
Oh, the rescue remedy thing, is that?
Oh, it's stronger than that shit. Fucking a couple of friends.
I didn't have that. All I had was rescue remedy and done nothing.
No, it's not called. Is it called Ritalin?
Oh yes, that's right. That's right. I'm thinking of the one that like is meant to keep you calm.
Spray under your tongue. Yeah.
No, Adderall.
Adderall. Yeah. If we could, but again, like a super interesting bloke that people would deem, you wouldn't mind that fellas, and you're like, you have no idea what you're dealing with here. Like this guy, not only that, but he started naming, like, people thought he was this tiny time farmer. Next thing, started naming out land. Before he knew it, he was up to nearly 1,000 acres in the area. You're like, oh, how's, you know what? How has some woman not picked you up? Because it's actually the same guy told me his marriage story, an amazing story. Lovely guy, but had no tolerance for bullshit, right? You knew by him when you were talking. He married this woman, wherever he met her, I don't know. He married this woman, she was from Mayo. They may have met up on it. You know, like Tinder back in the day was Ireland's Own. Do you remember Ireland's Own? It's still on the go. You'd see it in Eason's and stuff. It's like, it's real Owl One magazine, but it's made of paper. It's actually not glossy or anything. But there'll be, you know, have a look.
Picture the cover there now. I can't picture it now.
Next time you're in Eason's, right, you'll find yourself in Ireland's Own. I swear to God, it's so oldie worldy Ireland, and it's still out every week. Like, it's so
Okay,
like.
No, I haven't seen that.
Well, people would put in an advert like looking for a good woman, looking for a good fella, and they go, "I'm a good woman, I'm a good fella. Class. What are you into? Scones. Nice. Me too. Let's."
Scones. Nice. It's a match.
That's a great starting point if you ask me. Anyway, but
well, it depends on what type of scones. If it has
Yeah.
raisins in it, you're out.
yeah,
You're out like
little
that's
dead
just-
flies. Yeah,
I think raisins doesn't it in anything. No, they're dead grapes. That's what they are. They're dead grapes.
they
And
have
dates
no
are
place
just
in
big dead
society.
grapes.
And this is the thing I actually talked about in my latest hour comedy hour. I was talking like how I didn't realize how healthy kids are. Like my little fella, he loves raisins. Fucking eats them it's not just he's weird. It's actually they make them in boxes now. Like it's not just in the cooking department and the baking section of the shop.
Yeah, the little yeah.
Little boxes of raisins. But this guy's marriage, wait to hear this for a fucking story. This is a no bullshit man, right? So he brings this one down. They're courting for a couple of weeks. She's into it. He's into it. It's like, this is great. They have a quick wedding. Couple of brothers, couple of sisters. That's it. Get it wrapped up. Job done. Right back to the farm. That's she was loving life. He was loving life. Next thing out of nowhere, her sister lands on, and her mother lands on, and he had noticed they brought a lot of luggage with him. Like he says, "You come for the weekend, right?" They were like, "Yeah, okay, yeah." I didn't sign up to this.
No.
A week later, they're still there. Fortnight later, they're still there, washing knickers in the sink and whatnot. And he's like, no, this isn't, no. So he got to about 3.5 weeks in, and he was like, are you moving on? Like, well, I mean, there's loads of space here. Oh, cool. Yeah, do you want to go for a drive? Nice. He got all their bags, fucked him into the boot, drove all three of them, including the wife, to the train station. Good looking fucking thanks. Never seen again.
Can't believe they all they didn't have a clue what he was doing. Like, but like, imagine that. Like, just no. I think I'd probably do the same. I'd be just like, "Are you all right?" Like,
yeah.
But they get out of my house.
But I know, like they thought they had a nice, quiet old fool, and this guy, like with his nice little farm and stuff like that, they just thought he was a quiet old man. But it was the fact that he just caught all three of them and went, "Get out to fuck."
I'd love to see their faces at the train station or wherever you dropped them. Like, I'd love to see. I said they died. I said they didn't even know what was going on. They probably thought they were going on a weekend trip somewhere.
I never got around to ask you. Frankie's World did unbelievable as well, didn't it? Because we were only talking about Frankie's World about to come out the last time we were talking.
Yeah, that's right. That is a while ago now. But I can't remember if I was talking to you just before it came out or while I was working on it. But
no, it was just coming out like.
Okay, so it's out like a year now, which is mad. Doesn't even feel like a year. It flew in, and it's been kind of mad to tell you the truth. Like basically, it's been kind of mad. I done this thing with my friend where, like, well, obviously when it came out, we haven't sat down to do it yet, but she was like a year in review, and she was like saying like, oh, we'll look back in a year to see like what happened with it, like, because obviously like when it came out, like first, there was a lot of people talking about it and stuff, so I was like really excited, and I was like, oh, I wonder, what the possibilities will be, like who's gonna read it, like are kids like gonna like it, and it kind of just it done very well. I was delighted. In the UK, a lot of teachers and librarians support it over there, and like small bookshops, and that really kind of just gave it such a boost over there, I think, as well, because like obviously I'm from Ireland, so I don't really know that many people in the UK, bar like my auntie and some of my family, but like, so that was like really cool. And then same here, like it kind of exceeded my expectations, and I think it kind of changed me in a way, which sounds kind of really cheesy or corny, but like it changed me in a way, because it was kind of like while I was working on the book, I started going to counselling as well, because this is kind of like during the pandemic. And I was going to counselling thinking, oh yeah, I need to, talk about my mom and all this. And, I need to kind of like sort this kind of part of my life out and kind of, talk about it.
Yeah.
And it was gas, because when I went to counselling, then it was like, I thought I had like this one bottle where, like, I talk about stuff about my mom and open it up. But it was like this one giant bottle where like everything just came out, and I was talking about school and all these kind of things, because I hadn't actually talked to anyone about it before, like properly, like,
Yeah.
and I felt like that really helped me to write the book as well, because I was able to go back and look at these things and how I grew up, and from an adult's perspective. And it really helped me kind of what's the word, like just work through like all that stuff. So I feel like in a way, writing that book really helped me, and being so honest in the writing and the experiences of them being my own, I think I've helped other kids, which is just like the best thing. I couldn't ask for any more.
No,
Like,
you
kids are reading.
couldn't.
I'm hearing like parents tell me that their kids have read it like 4 times, and they don't read books and they love it. Um, Kids like literally like telling their mom, "Look, I'm on page 194," like really excited, like, because they're able to read a book, and like they don't have that pressure on them of reading like a novel where it's just words.
Yes.
Because it's a graphic novel. Like, sorry, I should have mentioned that. But and just, it's just kind of, yeah, it's really nice to see these things and hear them, like, from parents and kids themselves. Like, it's been kind of magical in a way, like, because it's like kind of like I'm hugging my younger self, and also these kids are reading the book and going like, oh, it's okay to be me, it's okay to be different, like that's okay, like, because like she's different and he's different, and it's kind of
Yeah.
like opening up a different kind of view. Because I think when you're a kid, you can internalize a lot of stuff, and you can only like you kind of like only see it one way sometimes, because you haven't got that experience of life yet to kind of know that it's okay to be kind of like who you are and that kind of thing. And sure, I didn't learn that until I was like much older as well. So I feel like in a way it kind of helped me, but like it's helping others as well. So I was kind of, yeah, I would never have thought that like I would have been doing that like a couple of years ago, because obviously I didn't know I was autistic. So it kind of, yeah, it's I haven't got a word for it. It's mad.
Isn't that very interesting, though, that probably even you looking back now, as you're like, well, I wouldn't have even known how to teach anybody about what experience and how to deal with these things. But now
Yeah.
that you've nearly taught yourself. Like, was there days when you're getting into a chapter, or whatever, you go, oh fuck me, I didn't think, and you nearly have to sit back and recount it and go, oh Jesus Christ, right, I did. Okay, now we're here. I did not expect this to. I'd completely boxed that away. Do you know?
Yeah. No, definitely. And there was like parts of it like where I couldn't write for weeks on a certain part, because it'd be like really kind of heavy, like,
Yeah.
where there's a part where Frankie comes out of karate and she's just got her stripes on her belt. Now, this exact scenario didn't happen to me, but like similar scenarios have. So like she's running out because her mom's collecting her, and her mom's not there and her dad's there. And basically like she like has to go to the hospital because her mom is in ICU. So like there's like things like that that were really hard to write about, because I experienced that a lot as a kid. And it was really kind of lonely as well, because I didn't know anyone else who experienced those things, and everyone else's mom was like young and they were healthy and they were able to do things, and my mom wasn't really that well, like. So it was kind of, yeah, it was hard to write about that, because I never really talked about it and what it was like to be a kid whose mom was sick, and like, that fear of like, oh, they could die at any moment, like that
Yeah.
kind of like, I remember that feeling like all the time. Like, now I didn't go into that much in the book, but I knew even talking about that would help, because there's other kids out there whose parents like have like, disabilities, or if they're ill, and you know that kind of way, like. So it just showed that like, everyone has their own kind of things in their family. I think that's why it was well perceived, because it was real, if that makes
Oh,
sense. Like, it was, even though
like,
it's fiction, it's real, like, that way.
if there was one word for you, it's authentic. You know what I mean? And I can't. The older I get, the less I have in the bullshit. I don't have a bullshit tank at all anymore. I don't have it. I don't. I can't buy into the hype of things. I can't get excited about. But I get excited by a fucking bin man who loves his job. I get excited by the authenticity of Aoife. You just happened to do something really cool. But if you fucking didn't, do you know what I mean? Well, if it was cool for you, like if you loved stacking shelves in Tesco's, do you know what I mean? Or you were just ripping it up in life, just going, I fucking, this is, but, and you said it exactly. That's all. That's all I have space in my soul for these days. I genuinely met a guy the other day, and to say that this guy loved his job as a bin man, he'd never had. His family were. It was kind of they were, for the want of a better phrase, they were ne'er do wells. You know what I mean? They just weren't. They weren't ever inspired to work. Any of them. His entire family, none of them. And he put on a lot of weight and stuff. And he was 26 before he even thought about having a job. And somebody went, there's a bin man. It pays really well. He was like, fucking bin man. It was like, I don't know, he's clearing €1,000 a week or something. But he was.
Well, it would want to be, wouldn't it? Like, like it's not an easy job. Like,
it's a hard job. You're up at 3 in the morning. But he started it, and he was doing his truck driving course. The guy had lost like 6 stone. He was fucking loving life. Like, to see the positivity just hopping out of this guy's eyes as I was talking to him, like, I don't give a fuck about, you know what I mean? How could you not?
Yeah.
To take a stone-faced animal to not be excited for this guy, like it was. But what I'm saying is, it was authentic.
I know, you know,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It was the authenticity of this guy's excitement. In the same way, like, sure, kids, as soon as you're writing that down in a book, they know regardless, like, they'll know what's coming off that page is coming from it's written from like, you couldn't write that as a fucking, a novel writer or a fiction writer going, well, I'm going to write about war next week, but this week I'm going to write Frankie's World. It could never happen. Like, you know what I mean?
And, no, it is. It's just kind of, it is. It's just mad. Yeah. It's like, I wouldn't have ever thought about it now, like, only for like finding out like that I'm autistic and that kind of thing. But it's, I think writing about those experiences definitely helped. Like, for me, obviously, but like, I think that it was a really, like, kind of positive thing. And I have it got translated during the year as well. Like, that's something that I never expected. Like, that was just like amazing, like, news, like, So it's in Italian, Polish, Welsh, and I'm trying to think now.
It's gone to Welsh, has it?
Yeah,
wow.
This is a mad one. The government of Wales wanted to translate it, so that's why I got translated into Welsh, which I thought was insane. I just thought that was like really cool. I was okay.
Did you get a copy of it? Because the words must go. Because
now it was a small publisher, like, so I didn't ask because I didn't want to kind of like get in the way. So I actually just ordered my own copy of it, like, and it's it's deadly. It's so random seeing it in different languages, and now literally is it next month? I don't know if I'm allowed to announce this, but I'm thinking I'm probably going to be allowed to announce it this week or next week. So I don't know when this is going out, but it's going to be translated into Spanish and Catalan now next.
Oh,
so it's kind of just like, it's just after taking on a world of its own, I think, as well. So, but and the best thing I heard, though, the absolute best thing, that just like literally, I was like, I cannot, like, I've peaked. Like, you have your, like, I want to get like New York Times bestseller.
Yes.
I want to do this. You have all these kind of things that people want to do, but no, this is my thing. And I was like, a librarian from the area I grew up in told me she is constantly ordering copies in because nobody's bringing them back.
They keep on stealing them to keep them at home.
I was like, doesn't get better than that. Like, that's like, that's the big guys. Like, you see, like Dave Pilkey, Jeff Kinney, like, all their books get robbed from libraries. So like I'm not, well, I'm sure it's bad for the library. Like obviously, I'm sure there's no kids listening to your podcast, but like, no. don't steal books. Like, I was chuffed with that because I just thought it was just like, that kind of says a lot. Like, so I was like, okay,
that puts a serious value on it, doesn't it? Like, because they're going to bring back every book, like, you know what I mean? Like, but
but like, it means that like someone's enjoyed it, like so much that they don't want to bring it back, or they're not ready to bring it back as well. So it's kind of, it's nice. But so like, even just kind of going into to schools to give talks and all, like, that's something that, like, it had been a bit of a twist, because obviously I came off stage talking about like geese and stuff and like tits, and I'm going into schools and I'm all like, you know what I mean? So it kind of was like almost like a Hannah Montana. Like, it was kind of that was kind of difficult in a way. I had to kind of find myself and kind of go, well, what am I gonna, that kind of way.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of still like, oh, can I put that up on my website? Like, or will I have parents kind of like burn on my books if they see the C word now or something, that way? But you just have to be yourself and just kind of be authentic. And that's just the way that I was doing it before. So I don't think that's going to change now.
No, you cannot, like, no. And
absolutely, like, you can't, like, it's you'll just suppress yourself by doing that. Like, if you're not kind of like, allowing yourself to do what you really want to do. That's like you said, the awkward moments that you bank, like, and you kind of keep on, you can use. I kind of like, and you were saying about traveling and kind of going out and like, experiencing the world, like, so you can kind of come up with ideas. I'm finding like I've had a lot of those over the last couple of years now, so I've been kind of literally writing those down, and I am going to be talking about my gig again on stage, but like,
Brilliant.
but I am going to be talking about that, like, because I literally, like, I went to the doctors now, and this is just like, it's not even a snippet, like, this is actually true. I went to the doctors a while ago, and I went to see a gynecologist. Now, I've never seen a gynecologist in my life. Like,
Me either. Yeah.
yeah, well, yeah. But I was shit myself because I was like, oh God, like, what's gonna happen? Are they gonna stick something up here? Or like, I don't know, like, I didn't know what. So I was Googling, like, what happens at a gynecologist, all that stuff. And I went in, I was sweating, like, I was absolutely sweating, like, the blue was running down my forehead, like, in the doctor's waiting room. And I was the last one to go in, and didn't even do anything, like, absolutely shaved for nothing. Went in, I was sitting there, and it gets worse. It gets worse, right? So I'm talking to the doctor, and he's like, right, we're going to try this out for a couple of months. And if this doesn't work, you're probably going to have to get this. Now, this blew my mind, Tom. This blew my mind. Now, look at me now. Like, I know my camera's a bit like blurry. It kind of looks like I'm on a Nokia 3310. But like, I look quite young, right? So I've never had any interest in kind of, getting lip filler or Botox or any of these things. I've never been
I'd be
interested
amazed. I'd be amazed.
But now he's telling me that, like, yeah, you might have to get Botox inside your vagina.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And that shit's expensive. That's expensive. And do you know the worst part about it is? Do you know the worst part about it is? Who the hell am I going to show that off to?
Yeah.
Spending all that money for nothing. For nothing.
Hold on. What?
Yeah.
To take the wrinkles out of it?
I was shocked. So basically, I could have this thing called endometriosis. And it's basically like, if you're familiar with it, if you're not, like, basically it's like a thing where I don't really know too much about myself, to be honest with you. I've only just found out about this. But like, it's to kind of calm down the tenseness of it, like, because I'll be tense down there to calm it down, so it's not like that, like, so it's not like clenching up or stuff. I don't know. But I was just like, what? I didn't, like, I've heard of people getting it in the armpits and all, like, for sweat and stuff like that. But I didn't know you could get it in your gay. Like, that just horrified me. Like, and getting a needle is bad enough, but getting one in your gay, like that's just nightmares, like,
When you write that
it should have been a trigger warning for that, like, should have been a trigger warning for that now, but so like, so I've just been collecting all these random things, and I'm just like, oh my God, like this, like, I didn't even know this is a thing. Like, I'm gonna make this educational. Like, this is like classes in session, like this, like, what?
Well, there'll be no wrinkles in it anyway. That's the main thing. Like, it'll be.
Yeah, but it's on the inside. Who's gonna see? Well, you're gonna open it up and have a look in and go, oh yeah, that looks good. That looks great. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. Like, so that's what I've been doing. I've been collecting all these kind of random things.
I mean, maybe go for a swim or something first before you get the Botox. Maybe just see if that loosens it. Like, I don't know. I mean,
yeah, hear the waves in the sea are good for that.
Something. Jesus, don't let somebody inject fucking.
I'm not. I'm hoping that the first thing works, so I don't have to do that, because it just doesn't. You know what? Like anything like that just doesn't appeal to me. It's the same as giving birth or anything like that. Like, I can't. Like, it just. I know it's so natural, but to me, it just seems so unnatural.
Maybe that's the next voyage. Maybe you need to get into like hypnobirthing classes or something, just to see what the interest is there, like, or I don't know, pregnancy pilates.
They're after telling me now that I have to do pelvic floor exercise classes. So I didn't know what that was, and I don't know what it is, because I haven't really looked it up yet. But the only thing that popped into my mind was Samantha from Sex and the City saying that she practices it. And I remember, like, she was in a restaurant with her friends, and she's like, I'm doing it right now. I think it's like you're just tightening and loosening your vagina. So, like, I think, like, I have to do all that stuff. It's mad. You swear I'm 80. I think you're right. I like your idea of I'm getting all this shit out of the way first. So, once I hit 40, it's game on.
Oh yeah, it's reset.
I'm living, baby. Oh,
do you know what? I could talk with you all night, but I don't want to burn up enough stuff for the next one. But this is unbelievable. So you're coming back? You're coming back to stand up? You're coming back to the dark side?
I want to. Yeah, I want to. I've been working on stuff, so I'm just looking for the right time to throw in. So I took a break this month. So I've missed writing. So I kind of, I want to kind of work on a few things. So I have a good bit there
Well,
before I come back.
you know what to do. You know what to do.
I know.
We will sit down, yes, and we will make it beautiful. What's next? Do we know what's next? I mean, you're painting the house at the minute, so I don't want to be bothering you with work, but people will want to know. Genuinely, you're the most requested back. I did a live Patreon one the other night, and a chap who lives in the UK who's only new to my podcast just went out of interest. When's Aoife? I was talking about I've astronauts coming on, I've this, and I go, and just by pure fluke, he went, when's Aoife Dooley coming back on? I went, next fucking week. You know, so that's the effect you have. Yeah, that's the effect you have on people. Yeah.
That's lovely. Yeah, no, next, I'm literally, I'm painting my house now because it was well overdue, let me tell you. And the landlord's coming out next week, so I have to get the blue stains from my hair out of the bath. Don't know how I'm going to do it. So if you have any tips, please let me know. But I'm literally going to be working on my online shop. So I have like stuff there that I'm going to be like, I want to get into. So I have big plans. Like I was saying to you, like I want to kind of do new things, but I'm living my childhood dreams. So I'm playing like, Pokemon again. I'm playing The Sims. I'm playing Mario Kart. I'm playing all the retro games. I am loving it. And I'm also like, getting into like other things as well. So I have like fun things planned, and I have some other things planned that I can't talk about. So there's like work things, but personal things, like, I'm playing games again. Amazing. I'm loving it. I'm literally, I want to get into making clay. I want to make clay.
Oh, yeah.
I want to make clay trophies, like custom. Actually, no. If you take this idea and bring it to Dragon's Den, don't, because I'm going to trademark it before you can even do that. But I want to make custom trophies for people that they can order. So like, you
Pesky.
fucked up, or big cunt, or I don't know, like. And I want to just get into making loads of clay things. Because I just have this kind of. Yeah. Literally, like, if any comedy clubs want me to do like custom awards for them, I can do that. I can do it for, your wife as well on your anniversary, or anybody else. Shameless plug. But I want to start doing all that kind of stuff, and getting more prints out, mugs, sticker packs, all these kind of things. I want to do lucky bags, like mystery bags.
But the shop is up and running, because you did well over Christmas, because I saw there was kind of a bit of a log jam, a lot of artists.
Yeah. Open
and then it just took off.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were in the same boat though, and it took off then. So fingers crossed it goes well this year then, because I'm after getting a few things there like ordered and stuff. So like for the next couple of months. So I'm trying to stay a month ahead.
Yeah.
Then I want to get back into playing music. Because I want to get back into playing music. So Carl's getting a piano, and I have a guitar there, and I want to start doing stuff again. But I want to play metal. I want to make clay. I want to play metal, and I also want to learn the Law and Order SVU theme tune. That's next on the keyboard.
That's a great tune.
Yeah, so I'm just going to like bum 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 bum.
I want that as my ringtone now.
And then Carl's going to come in behind the door with the guitar, and he's going to be like bum 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 bum. So like that's like, I really want to do that. Do you know how all this came about? My counsellor said to me, was when I started going to counselling, she's like, who are you? And I was like, I'm in, like who you was out of I gave her some introduction. I did.
Did you?
And I got shut down. I did. I was like, I'm Aoife Dooley, and I'm an artist, I'm an illustrator, I'm a comedian, I'm this, and I just kept naming things off. And she just looked at me and she's like, yeah, but what? Who are you? What do you do? What are you interested in outside of work? And I was like, and I just had this thing where it was just like in a TV show, I was like, who am I? So I just want to do all these things, because I'm like, I'm learning who I am again, and I'm enjoying it. I was like, yeah. But that's next. So fun stuff. And yeah.
Well, as always, I will stick your shop in the show notes. So go get yourself Aoife Dooley merch. You know what it's like. It's fucking class. It's fucking class. Aoife Dooley, artist, comedian, illustrator, amazing book creator, and all-round sound bastard. Big love to Carl and the gang. Hope you get the blue. I'm just going with Aggie and Yohan. Apparently they do use a lot of lemon juice. That's all I can tell you. Lemon juice to get blue.
Vinegar and baking soda I seen online, and I got myself a scrub daddy, so I'm going to use that as well. You know, the little smiley face thing.
Oh right, Jesus! I thought, what the fuck is this now? It was like,
there's like some big giant man coming in to scrub me bad.
That is a business. That is a business. I know at least 3 big lumps of lads that would be great at coming in and just scrubbing people's backs.
No, your back, not your back.
Oh no, I was good. Yeah, back. Oh no, I'm gonna scrub people's backs. Oh yeah, everybody's doing backs.
Your back would be good too. Yeah, your back would be good too, though. That's chill. Wouldn't throw it down. But no, that's that's all that's next for me then.
Beautiful. Thanks a million, Aoife. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm very excited by the notion that she's coming back to stand up, because that is a woman that needs to be back in stand up. She's so brilliantly alternative. I love her stuff, as you would have guessed throughout the show, but especially that opening bit. My God. But we will sit down, we'll go through her stuff, and she will be an animal when she comes back, because she's such, oh God, she's good. Check out the show notes. I put Aoife's shop link in there. Her stuff is class. Just even give it a look and let it soak away in the brain and go, do you know what? I need to get that. And you know it's a class person selling it, and will be the one putting it in the envelope. So that's, and you know what I mean, you're supporting an artist. It's an independent artist. It's cool as shit. That's what you're doing here. You're supporting it. Patreon is another way of supporting it, but you do get lots of stuff for Patreon. But of course there is, if you just one time just want to go, Tom, I don't want none of that stuff, there is a link for Ko-fi or coffee, it's called. You can buy Tom a coffee. I don't know, it's a couple of dollars. It's in the show notes as well. If you want. If it's your first time listening, hit star the 5 stars. Hit that. And maybe share it with somebody and tag me on it. Tag the podcast on Instagram. Probably the best place. You know where to find me. Tom O'Mahony will find you. Very easy. Very easy to find me. You probably have already. Other than that, the Hill is on the 25th. Come see me and a gang of class comedians. I'll be probably in a town near you. Other than that, doing sets and stuff like that. But look it. Thanks very much for listening. Go on away, enjoy the rest of the weekend. And I'll talk to you next week. Good night, good listen. Thanks.